Wait up! For one who has anything but a moment to themselves, you do carry yourself with such unending energy. How on earth do you do it? You must give me your secrets. Yes, well, I for one require a break from the dance floor, if but for a moment. Care to join me for a promenade around the room? I would very much enjoy the company. Well, yes, of course you have a say in the matter, so long as your say indicates yes. Come, I wish to speak with you. You looked absolutely stunning out there, as per usual. I can agree as to why the Queen named you her Incomparable this season. I'd hardly call my remark flirting. If I were to do so, I'd hear no end of it from the gentlemen and haughty ladies of the time alike. And in any case, you would nary stand a chance against my witful charm. Besides, I have known you for so long, I have the image of a younger you in soiled linens and looting strings burned into the deep confines of my mind forever. How could I court such a sight? Yes, I am very much aware of how unladylike and improper my comment was. However, it does not make it any less true. All witless banter aside, I care deeply for your happiness, as you do mine, and I relish in that fact every day. My dance? Well, not quite as enchanting as yours, obviously, but I think I held my own. Lord Brighton is fine enough on his feet, however, with mind and wit, he's rather lacking, I'm afraid. The mamas laud him as a successful entrepreneur, a charmed and gifted horse rider, and a true gentleman. However, that does not make up for his deficiency in candor and utter lack of ambitions. All he could talk about during our dance was the importance of family, duties to name and fatherhood and the like, which obviously are fine and well traits to have, but there should be much more to this charade than mere duty, should there not? Is it wrong I crave something different, something more substantial? Love? No, love is not, it must not be a factor in this game. Love tends to complicate things, does it not? How so? Well, the act of a love match in polite society isn't unheard of. However, only a fraction of those are pure and true. Most end up resenting each other in the end, the flames of their courtship sputtering out quicker than a singular candle doused by the ocean. No, if I am to wed, it will be due to the virtue of the individual's character, the strength of his wit, and his commitment to his passions. And my passions as well, of course. However, counting the current available suitors who have made their appearance tonight, my passions will have to wait a while longer, it seems. I must admit, though, your prospects seem much more promising this night than mine. Of course I mean that. Take a look at your dance card. It is proof enough. Practically overflowing with names of one sort or another, while mine is Well, not empty necessarily, but definitely lacking in comparison. I do not know. I say I do not care for these matters and then immediately prattle on like the rest of them. What has gotten a hold of me? Who are you referring to? Oh, them. Lord Centauri. Well, yes, his partner is quite lovely, but himself extraordinary. It is quite the shame he is a rank and a scoundrel. Well, surely you have heard the rumours making their way around the town. The gossip papers have not stopped chattering about him. After a 5-year absence, the Viscount has returned to grace the town once more. Apparently, he had just inherited the title from his late father, who had passed 2 summers ago, has continued to spend that fortune on travels to countries unknown, and is now spending the better part of the season cavorting with his fellow gentlemen at every social club and brothel this side of the Thames. It is appalling. He is appalling. Yes, I am aware of our history with him. I remember our summer evenings as children. Do you recall back when things like property or courtship were merely fairy tale and held much more allure, since we couldn't partake yet? Back then we used to gallivant around the woods behind your estate, picking wild gooseberries, laughing, pretending to be great explorers from the stories our fathers used to tell us at night. We would pretend to travel to the places we've only ever heard of. The Americas, India, Egypt. Yes, I recall the other role plays we kept as well. A wedding, if I recall correctly. We had pretended that he and I were to be wed in a grand cathedral with the blessing of Her Majesty. Wonderfully played by you, of course. The soft light of a cool summer afternoon flowing through the stained glass windows. Myself in a beautiful French dress just picked up from the most fashionable modiste. Him in a suitable and fitting jacket. In reality, that day was particularly hot. The light was streaming in through the holes in between the twig hut we had found for ourselves, and I was absolutely boyish, running around in a dirty dressing gown. And yet, despite all that, it was wonderful. Besides, despite being an absolute rake, at the moment he is the most fetching suitor in the town. A perfect match for Her Majesty's proclaimed Incomparable. Don't sell yourself short, my beautiful friend. He has been stealing glances, vying his eyes towards us. Towards you, I mean, since the beginning of the night. The fact that I have been paying attention to the Viscount's indirect advances tonight is neither here nor there. I am merely looking out for both of us. For myself and my unabating oath to chastity. And you and your prospective future husband. Me? I am quite fine. Thank you very much for asking. Why would I not be? Look, I said I care for your happiness, and I do, immensely. I suppose, even after all this time, I care for his happiness as well. And if it so happens you two find great solace in one another, then that is all the better for me. Truly. Truly.
Miss Sweet, and my dear friend, it is a delight to see you again.
And the same sentiment to you, my lord. We have just taken a break from the dance floor. You were a delight to watch from here. You have become quite the dancer.
Yes, quite. It was but one of the many skills I have acquired on my travels. Though, on those travels, I must say I have missed the ton and its balls. Its people. Some people more than others. Well, I would certainly like to catch up. However, my friend, it appears you have a few empty spots on your dance card left. Would you perhaps like to accompany me for this next dance? There is much I would like to discuss with you.
They would be extremely happy to take your hand to the floor, my lord. What a generous offer. This is your chance to make good on your circumstances as the incomparable at this court. I will not have my feelings, as illogical and daft as they may be, stand in your way. Now go. I will be fine.
I apologize. I'm afraid I did not catch that.
Nothing. Just womanly talk. Now please, do your gentlemanly duty and escort our mutual and attractive friend to the dance floor. Okay.
Oh, all right then. We will be back shortly.
I will take a stroll in the garden for a moment if you need to find me, yes?
Well then, shall we? I don't suppose the orchestra will wait for us much longer. You look stunning tonight. It is a wonder seeing how much we both, well, how all three of us have grown, despite our absences in each other's lives. I am glad to see that you and Miss Sweet are still good friends. I was afraid we might all grow distant with time. That is clearly far from the case. Myself? My sincerest thanks for the compliments, but I must decline them. I am but the same as I once was all those years ago. A child, longing for adventure and excitement. It is only unfortunate circumstance that I now have the means to experience that excitement for myself, rather than in your back garden. You, however, you have many reasons to celebrate, the foremost of them catching Her Majesty's eye. I heard of your crowning as the Ton's Incomparable on the last leg of my travels, and I hurried home as quickly as I could so I might see said Incomparable in person. Well, one of the many reasons why I made haste at least. What other reasons? The primary of which would be the handling of my family's estate. I fear I may have been gone too long. A moment longer and my mother and her remaining children might have become destitute. But otherwise, in any case, how is Miss Sweet faring as of late, truly? What? What is that face you are making? I merely wish to inquire regarding the state of our mutual friend. That is all. I apologize. I have not been particularly truthful. I will admit that I had ulterior motives when asking you to dance. I simply wished to speak with you in private regarding her, and this was the only way I could surmise to do so. You two have been attached by the hip for the duration of the night, and I did not want to cause any undue attention towards myself or her. I suppose you're right about that. We do seem to have quite the number of eyes on us at the moment. In truth, I had wished to have had a moment with her tonight. She is everything she was when we were children, yet somehow better, more mature, more right. Her smile, the way she graces the floor with every movement, the way her gown lays on her figure. She is radiant tonight. Always. Forgive me. Please, do not take this whole ordeal as a slight to your own appeal. I care for you deeply, but as a dear friend, not as a prospective marriage partner. I assure you, you make the finest and most brilliant of diamonds. You will find your love match in no time at all. I am certain. I'm sorry, I do not follow. Why would she be upset tonight? You had just been talking of suitors and of myself prior to our dance? She was upset that I took your hand instead of hers. Does that mean she... That could not possibly be the case. Surely she has several other perfectly acceptable suitors at her beck and call. Why would she harbor any feeling toward me? No, that cannot be. I am a rake, a dandy. At least that is what the gossip papers paint me as, regardless of the truth. I have harbored feelings for her since we were children. If there was even the slightest chance of her harboring the same, The wedding in the woods. She remembers that still? And she regards that memory as fondly as I have all this time? I must go to her. I will make this right. Where did she say she was leaving to? Propriety be damned then. If you care for your standing in the society, you will stay here, of course. But let me go to her. Please, it is my heart's only want. Thank you, thank you! Star! Miss Sweet!
My lord, what is it you think you are doing? Do you know what might happen if someone were to see us out here? Alone? Unchaperoned?
It does not matter. I do not care. All I wish is to speak with you.
But I do care, my lord. If they find us here, scandal will be afoot, and you would have to marry me to keep your honor.
And would that be such an unpleasant fate?
My lord, I do not understand. I don't...
I have stated my intention quite plainly. I only wish to speak with you. I only wish to be with you.
That cannot be true. You are a rake, a scoundrel who spends the majority of his time in coin and brothels and on drink. Every gossip paper says so.
I assure you, I go to those unseemly places for the fellowship of my peers. the gentleman of the ton, not for its wares nor its pleasures.
You lie.
I do not lie, Miss Sweet. I care not for the meeting places those gentlemen pick. I have never had a strumpet of either gender, nor taken a single drink too many. Not once, I assure you. You may ask the wives of those gentlemen if you must. They will confirm it to be true.
Then, why do you go with them to such places? If not to drink, to fornicate, be all that the papers say you to be?
Because I am in desperate need of assistance. My family depends on me now that my father has died. He left me to care for my mother and siblings, to see to their dowries, to keep them fed and warm. But I was a fool, a failing of a man only 25, a petulant child who shirked his responsibilities in favor of continuing to gallivant across the world in search of adventure. But no more. I go to those places not to find pleasure, not to fornicate, but to seek advice from my betters, those older and wiser, who have paid their daughters' dowries and who are now free to be wise in bending their vows, both to their family and to their wives. The thought of which sickens me to my core, but I have no other choice but to stomach it. I do not care that my whereabouts paint me as a rake or a ninny, so long as my family is cared for and I am able to finally pay the debt to my father. His reputation and my future wife's honor will be justly earned. That is why I suffer this indignity.
My lord, Centauri, I am so sorry. I did not know.
How could you have known?
I could not have, and yet I feel for you all the same.
Thank you for your pity, but surely you must save your deeper emotions for your no doubt countless suitors in waiting.
It is not pity. I feel many things, many a great and terrible things in this moment, but none of which are pity. And I do not know what you mean by countless suitors. There are none.
What do you mean? I know for a fact that
I have rejected them. Each and every single one of the several proposals I've been gracious to receive, I, in equal ungraciousness, have rejected outright.
Why would you ever do that?
Because they are not you. As good of the quality of their families, as of their perfectly acceptable standings in court, as of their pristine account records and endless gentlemanly hobbies, they are not you. And they never will be you.
I do not understand.
You do not have to understand it. As unfortunate as it may become for me, you do not have to even acknowledge it. But all the same, I cannot say yes to a single, well-to-do, perfectly fine suitor because of you. From the moment I heard of your arrival to the ton, my mind was made up. And you know how hard it is for me to change my mind.
It is one of the great and many wonderful facets you possess. Back inside, when I had taken their hand to dance with them, all I wanted was to ask about you. They had told me you remembered our days as children, our fake adventures, our wedding.
Yes, and I also recall telling them that it was children playing pretend and nothing more.
It was not pretend for me. At least, not in all of the ways that matter. Back then, I spent every morning, every evening waiting for you to come out from your studies and be with me. When we picked gooseberries together, I hid the most ripe ones away until I could give them to you. I spent hours upon hours, with their help, erecting a cathedral of twigs and moss, just for the chance to hold your hand and propose a fake betrothal the next day. Just for the chance to hold your hand and propose a fake betrothal the next day, as sweaty as my palms may have been. I have traveled the world, sailed the seas, encountered measures of wonder and awe the likes most will never even dream to see. I have been to the Americas, to India, to Egypt, every adventure we set our sights on as children, inspired by our shared desperate, naive urge to seek the world. And yet, the only wonder that has stuck in the forefront of my mind has been you. Every continent, every horizon, every sunset, I see you. My mind craves the sharpness and wit of your own. I wish to be lashed by the stinging remarks of your tongue. My skin, blessed by the heat of the sun, will never be warm without you in my embrace. That is why I've returned. That is why I seek to keep my family out of destitute. I seek to be worthy of you.
You never had to make yourself worthy of me. I care not of your worthiness, I care not of your standing or your worldliness. I have no need for it. I only have need for you. I love you.
And I you. I love you too. Who is there? Reveal yourself now.
There is nothing untoward going on between myself and the Viscount. It was simply...
Oh, it's you? What are you doing in the brush? I thought you were still inside. You were chaperoning us? From the bushes, you mean?
Yes, that's right. Our dear friend had agreed to chaperone us during our walk into the garden, so that no unfortunate soul might see the two of us alone and think something amiss. Isn't that right, my dear?
I do believe that proper society dictates us to be chaperoned by someone that is our senior and... Yes. Quite fortunate you were here. How very kind of you, as always. I suppose I owe you a dance tonight, Miss Sweet.
There is nothing to suppose, my lord. Merely the fact of the situation. It seems my dance card will not be needed for the remainder of the night.
Then I will meet you inside. Have a wonderful evening, my friend.
What? Your face betrays you. I said I care very much about your happiness, and I expect you to offer me the same courtesy. Alright. I will see you back indoors. Thank you.